Divorced men. What happened when your ex-wife realized she regretted cheating? Story 1. My ex-wife Lauren didn't confess. She got caught by her own mouth. We were at a neighborhood BBQ 2 years after the divorce. I brought my girlfriend, Mina. Lauren showed up solo, dressed like she was auditioning for Woman Who Definitely Isn't Over It. Everything was fine until someone joked, "At least you two stayed civil." Lauren laughed too hard and said, I only cheated because I felt invisible." Silence. Like someone unplugged the party. Mina's hand tightened around mine. I didn't say a word. I just stared at Lauren like she'd slapped me with a wet towel. She kept talking, because cheaters always think extra words can fix damage. Then she tried to backpedal. I didn't mean it like that. I've grown. I'm in therapy. I regret it every day. Her eyes got shiny, and she aimed them at me like tears were a weapon. I finally spoke. You didn't regret it when you were doing it. You regretted it when it cost you something. Her face collapsed. She followed me to my car, whispering, "He left me. He used me. I ruined everything for nothing. I miss our life." I looked at Mina, then back at Lauren. "The life you miss is the one you burned down." She started sobbing right there in the driveway while people pretended not to watch. And the wild part? I didn't feel revenge. I felt free. Like her regret was just proof I stopped being the guy who begged her to choose me. Story 2. The first time my ex-wife texted me after cheating, it was to ask if I'd forward her mail. The second time was a year later. "Can we talk?" I ignored it. Then she sent a photo, our dog Winston, at the vet. He's old. They say his heart is weak. I didn't know who else to tell. That's how she got me. Not with romance. With guilt. I met her at the clinic. She looked smaller than I remembered. No wedding ring, no confident smirk. Just tired. Winston wagged when he saw me, and I swear my chest cracked. We sat outside after, and she said it fast, like ripping a bandage. "I'm sorry. I destroyed us for attention from someone who didn't even like me. He cheated on me too. Multiple times. I deserved it, but I didn't think it would feel this empty." I didn't comfort her. I didn't attack her. I just asked, "Why now?" She pointed at Winston. "Because I saw you today and realized you were the only safe thing I ever had. And I threw it away." She started crying, then made it worse. "I thought you'd fight harder. I thought you'd prove you loved me." That line. That disgusting, childish logic. I stood up and said, "I loved you enough to leave when you made me small." She asked if we could try again. I said no. But I stayed until Winston fell asleep in my lap. And when I walked away, she whispered, "You still take care of what you love." I didn't turn around. I just said, "Yeah, that's why I'm not coming back." Story 3. My ex-wife cheated with my friend. Not a coworker. Not a stranger. My friend, Derek, the guy who was in my wedding photos. So when she called me 3 years later at 1:17 a.m., I assumed someone died. She sounded wrecked. "I need help." I said, "If Derek's bleeding, use a towel." Then I almost hung up. But she said, "He's not here. He left. He took everything. And I'm pregnant." That got my attention, not because I cared, but because life loves irony. I asked, "Is it mine?" She made a sound like she'd been punched. "No. Please don't hate me more than you already do." I met her the next day in public. She looked like she'd been dragged through a storm. No makeup. No performance. She admitted Derek had been cheating on her since month 6. He told her she was too emotional, then moved in with someone else. She found out because the other woman posted a photo with Derek wearing the watch my ex-wife bought him, with the money from our joint account. Then she said the sentence she probably practiced in the mirror. "I ruined my life. I ruined you. I thought I was upgrading, and I downgraded into hell." I leaned back and said, "So what do you want from me?" Her hands shook. "Nothing. I don't deserve anything. I needed you to know you were right." I thought that would feel good. It didn't. It felt like standing over a car crash you saw coming. As I left, she asked, "Do you think I'm a terrible person?" I paused. "I think you became one on purpose. And now you're surprised you can't turn it off." She didn't chase me. She just sat there, holding her stomach, crying into her coffee like regret was something you could drown. Story 4. My ex-wife was the kind of cheater who rewrote history. When I found out, she said, "We were basically roommates anyway, like vows expire if you get bored." Divorce happened fast. I rebuilt quietly. New apartment, new hobbies, new peace. Then one day, a package showed up at my door. A framed photo of us on our honeymoon. No note. Just that. I didn't respond. A week later, another package. My old college hoodie she accidentally kept. Finally, she showed up in person, standing in the hallway like a ghost with perfect hair. "Can we talk?" "Please." I didn't invite her in. I leaned on the doorframe and waited. She swallowed hard. "He wasn't worth it. I don't even know why I did it. I feel sick thinking about what I did to you. I can't sleep. I can't date. Everyone feels unsafe. I almost laughed. She wanted sympathy because she couldn't enjoy the world she poisoned. Then she said the real reason. I saw you last month. At the store. You looked happy. Like the divorce saved you, I said. It did, her eyes filled. That's not fair. That snapped something in me. Fair? You cheated, lied, blamed me, and called it finding yourself. Now you're upset I'm not miserable enough? She reached toward me like touching my sleeve could rewind time. I'd do anything. I'll sign whatever. I stepped back. You already did anything. That was the problem. She left shaking, and I closed the door. My heart was pounding like I'd just run a marathon. Not because I missed her. Because she finally saw the truth. I wasn't her backup plan. I was the life she threw away. Story 5. My ex-wife cheated and then tried to keep me. That was the special part. She wanted the marriage and the thrill, like she was entitled to both. When I filed for divorce, she acted offended. You're really going to throw away 10 years over one mistake? I didn't argue. I just left. 2 years later, I got engaged to a woman named Priya. Quiet, steady, the opposite of chaos. We posted a photo. Nothing dramatic, just hands with rings. Within an hour, my ex-wife called my mother, then my sister, then me. 47 missed calls. I finally answered, thinking maybe someone was hurt. She screamed, "How could you move on so fast?" I said, "It's been 2 years." Then the tone changed. She went soft. "I'm sorry. I messed up. I was stupid. I didn't realize what I had until I saw you give it to someone else." I didn't respond. She kept going, voice cracking. "He never loved me. He just wanted to win. And now I'm alone and everyone knows why." I asked one question. "Why are you calling me instead of a therapist?" She whispered, "Because you're the only person who ever made me feel chosen." That hit me like a brick, because it was true, and she still broke it. She begged to meet for closure. I agreed, but I brought Priya. Not to rub it in, just to keep it honest. In the cafe, my ex-wife froze when she saw her. Priya smiled politely and ordered tea like she belonged there. Because she did. My ex-wife stared at my ring, then at Priya's calm face, and her eyes filled. "So this is it," she said. "You replaced me." I corrected her gently. "No. I rebuilt what you broke. With someone who doesn't enjoy breaking things." She started crying. People stared. Priya squeezed my hand under the table, steady as a heartbeat. And my ex-wife finally understood the worst part of cheating. The regret doesn't start when you lose the person. It starts when you see them thriving without you. Story 6. My ex-wife showed up at my work parking lot like it was a movie scene. Rain, mascara, the whole dramatic package. I hadn't seen her in a year. Last time we spoke, she told me cheating just happened, and I needed to stop being controlling. Now she was leaning against her car, arms folded like she owned the place. "Can we talk?" she asked. I should have kept walking. Instead, I said, "Make it quick." She blurted it out like she'd rehearsed. "He left me. The guy I cheated with. He got another girl pregnant and blocked me. I lost everything for nothing." I waited. She looked confused that I wasn't instantly emotional. Then she said, "I didn't know you'd actually leave. I thought you'd fight for me." That sentence made my stomach turn. Like my love was a leash she expected me to hold. "You wanted me to compete for my own wife?" I asked. She started crying. "I know I'm disgusting. I know. But I miss our life. I miss you. I miss being safe." And that was the ugliest confession. She didn't miss me. She missed the consequences-free version of herself. I pointed toward the building. "Go home." She stepped closer. "Please. I'll do anything." I laughed, one short sound. "You already did." She tried to grab my arm and I stepped back like her fingers were a hot stove. "Don't," I said, louder than I meant to. 2 coworkers walked by and stared. Her face went bright red. She backed away, humiliated, and whispered, "You're really done." I nodded. "I was done the moment you decided I was optional." She left shaking, and I went inside, not triumphant, just relieved, because for the first time her tears didn't control my day. Story 7. The apology came through an email titled, "I ruined my marriage." I almost deleted it. But curiosity won. She wrote 5 paragraphs about regret, therapy, and not recognizing herself. It was the kind of apology people write when they want relief more than forgiveness. Then she asked to meet just once. I agreed because I wanted to see if she could say it out loud. We met at a diner we used to love. She sat down and instantly started shaking. "You look good," she said, like that was unfair. I said, "Why are we here?" She took a breath. "I cheated because I wanted to feel desired. I thought I was proving I still had it. And then I destroyed the only person who actually wanted me for real. I watched her hands twist around her coffee cup. She looked like someone trying to hold together a broken plate. Then she said the part that made my eyes narrow. I didn't think it would follow me. What does that mean? I asked. She swallowed. People know. The guy told his friends. And now I'm that woman. I lost a promotion. I lost friends. Every date turns into a trial. So there it was. Regret with a receipt. I leaned forward. You want me to forgive you because the world punished you? Her face crumpled. No. I want you to forgive me because I can't live with myself. I stood up. That's not my job anymore. She grabbed my sleeve. Please. I don't want to be this person. I pulled my arm back gently. Then stop being her. But you don't get to rehearse redemption on me. When I walked out, she didn't chase me. She just sat there, crying into cold coffee, finally realizing that some doors don't close softly. They slam. Story 8. My ex-wife didn't call me. She called my new girlfriend. I found out because my girlfriend Talia showed me her phone with a single message. Can we talk woman to woman? I made a mistake. Talia asked, do you want me to block her? I said, no, let her talk. I want to see what she thinks she's doing. So Talia replied, okay. They met at a cafe. Talia came home with this look, half angry, half amused. She cried, Talia said. A lot. What did she say? I asked. Talia mimicked her voice. I didn't appreciate him. I thought cheating was just a detour. I didn't realize he'd become someone else without me. Then Talia's face hardened. And then she asked me something insane. I felt my stomach drop. What? She asked if you still talk about her, if you compare us. I laughed, but it came out bitter. Unreal, Talia continued. She said she feels like she's watching her own life from the outside, like she's the villain in a story everyone else moved past. For a second, I almost felt sorry for my ex. Almost. Then Talia added, she said, if he ever gets tired of being perfect, tell him I'd take him back. That snapped the last thread of sympathy I had. Even her regret was selfish. She still thought I was a product on a shelf. I took Talia's phone and typed one message. Don't contact her again. That life is closed. My ex replied immediately. So he really doesn't miss me. I handed the phone back to Talia. Block her. And as Talia hit the button, she said, she didn't lose you when she cheated. She lost you when she realized you could be happy without her. That's exactly what regret sounds like. Jealousy wearing a sad mask. Story 9. My ex-wife cheated, got caught, and somehow still acted like I was the one abandoning the marriage. A year after the divorce, she invited me to a family dinner. I assumed it was about paperwork. Nope, it was a trap. I walked into her parents' house and saw her sitting at the table like nothing happened. Her mom smiled too big. Her dad wouldn't look at me. My ex-wife said, I just want us to talk like adults. Then she started crying in front of everyone. I ruined my life. I ruined him. I want another chance. Her mother reached for my hand. Sweetheart, she's learned. People make mistakes. I stared at them. It hit me then. She didn't just want me back. She wanted her image back. She wanted the audience to clap. I stood up. You cheated on me. Repeatedly, my ex-wife gasped like I'd said a swear word in church. Don't do this. Oh, now you want privacy? I asked. Her father finally spoke. Is it true? She froze. Her mom's face went pale. And suddenly the dinner wasn't about forgiveness. It was about truth. My ex-wife started babbling. It wasn't like that. He was distant. I cut her off. Stop. I looked at her parents. I'm not here to perform closure. I'm here because she lied to you too. My ex-wife's eyes filled with panic. Please don't. But it was too late. The mask slipped. Her dad pushed his chair back and said, You told us he gave up on you. She whispered, I didn't want you to hate me. I walked to the door. Behind me, her mother started crying, and her father raised his voice. My ex-wife called my name like it was a lifeline. I didn't turn around. Some regrets deserve an audience, just not me. Story 10. My ex-wife's regret came disguised as business. She texted, I need to talk about the house. We didn't have a house. We had an apartment I'd bought after the divorce, so I knew it wasn't about property. I met her in a public park. She arrived with a folder like she was a lawyer. I've been thinking, she said, about how we ended. I want to make amends. I said, by bringing paperwork? She opened the folder and slid something toward a letter. Handwritten. Pages of it. I wrote down everything, she said, eyes glossy. Every lie. Every time I blamed you. Every time I chose him. I didn't touch it. She continued, voice trembling. He wasn't special. He was just there. He told me you'd never leave. And I believed him because I thought you were weaker than me. That one stung. Because it was honest. She wiped her face. And then you left. And I realized I built my entire identity on being wanted. When you stopped wanting me, I didn't know who I was. I finally asked, "What do you want?" She looked at me like a kid caught stealing. "I want to know if there's any version of reality where you could forgive me." I thought about it, not to torture her, just to be sure. Then I said, "I forgave you for myself a long time ago." Her face brightened for half a second. "Hope." I finished. But forgiveness isn't the same as access. The hope drained out of her like air from a balloon. "So that's it." I stood up. "That's it." As I walked away, she called after me, "Do you ever miss me?" I didn't stop. "I miss who I thought you were," and that was the last honest thing I owed her. Story 11. My ex-wife's regret showed up as a Facebook memory. 10 years ago, our wedding dance. She tagged me like we were still a cute story. My phone exploded with messages from old friends. Is this okay? Did you guys get back together? I didn't react publicly. I just texted her. Delete it. She replied instantly, "Can we talk first?" So I called. She answered like she'd been waiting with the phone in her hand. "I wasn't trying to cause drama," she said. I miss us." I laughed because it sounded insane. "You miss us? You cheated on me." "I know," she snapped, then softened. "I know. And I hate myself for it. But you have to understand, I was spiraling. I felt old. I felt invisible. He made me feel chosen. And now," I asked. Silence. Then quietly, "Now he's engaged? To someone he met while he was with me." That's when it clicked. The regret wasn't about love. It was about humiliation. She started crying. "I ruined everything for a man who didn't even respect me. And you were good. You were stable. You were loyal." "Was," I corrected. She begged, "Just meet me once. I need to see your face. I need to know if you still hate me." I said, "I don't hate you." Her voice got hopeful. "So," I finished, calm, "I don't feel anything. And that's worse for you, isn't it?" She went silent, like I'd slapped her through the phone. Then she whispered, "Please don't be done with me." I hung up. The post was deleted within 5 minutes. And somehow that was the most honest apology she ever gave. Panic when she realized the world still remembers what she did. Story 12. My ex-wife didn't apologize until she saw my name on a donation wall. I'd sponsored a scholarship at my old trade school. Nothing flashy. Just in honor of my father. I didn't post about it. I didn't need applause. But she found it. She showed up at the school's open house like she belonged there. I was talking to a counselor when I heard my name behind me, shaky and small. "Evan?" I turned. She looked undone. No glam. No performance. Like she'd been carrying a brick on her chest for years. "I didn't know you were like this," she said. "Like what?" I asked. "Like, good," she whispered, then instantly hated herself for saying it. We walked outside. She blurted, "I'm sorry. I cheated because I wanted to feel powerful. I wanted to feel like I had options. I wanted to feel like I could hurt you before you hurt me." That was the first time she'd ever admitted the truth. It wasn't an accident. It was a choice. I asked, "Why tell me now?" She swallowed. "Because I keep meeting men who pretend. And I remember you were real. And I ruined it." Then she said something that made my blood run cold. "Sometimes I stalk your life just to punish myself." I stepped back. "Don't do that." "I know," she cried. "I know it's pathetic. But I can't move on. He left me. Everyone left me. And you're building things." She reached into her purse and pulled out a small envelope. "I want to donate to the scholarship. Anonymous. I just want to undo one small piece of what I broke." I didn't take it. I said, "Do it if you want. But don't buy your way back into my life." She nodded, crying harder, like my words were a door clicking shut. And I realized, regret isn't always begging to come back. Sometimes it's watching you become the person they never deserved, and realizing they'll never touch that life again. Story 13. The first time my ex-wife said, "I regret cheating," she was drunk at my cousin's wedding. Yes, the same cousin whose wedding she attended with me before the divorce. Same family. Same dance floor. Different disaster. I was there with my brother, no date, just trying to be supportive. Halfway through the night, she stumbled toward me in a glittery dress, eyes glossy. "I messed up," she slurred. I tried to walk away. She grabbed my wrist and said it louder. "I regret it, okay? I regret cheating. I regret leaving. I regret everything." People turned. Heads swiveled. My aunt froze mid-sip. I leaned in and hissed, "Stop! You're making a scene." She laughed like it was tragic romantic. I deserve to. I deserve to be embarrassed. Then she whispered, viciously honest, "He never even chose me. He just wanted to win. And now I'm nothing." There it was again. Not, "I hurt you." Not, "I betrayed you." Just, "I lost." I pulled my hand free. "Go sit down." She shook her head. Tears ran down her face. Do you remember our first dance? You held me like I mattered. And I threw it away for a guy who couldn't even remember my birthday. My cousin's bride was staring now, furious, because my ex-wife had turned her wedding into therapy. I looked at my ex-wife and said, clear enough for the room. You don't get to confess at someone else's wedding. Leave. Her face crumpled. She backed away like I'd pushed her physically. My brother stepped in and guided her out. People whispered. The DJ awkwardly started a louder song. Later, my cousin thanked me for not exploding. I just nodded. Because the truth is, I didn't need to yell. Her regret was already loud enough to ruin everything she touched, just like her cheating did. Story 14. My ex-wife's regret showed up in court. Not for the divorce, but for her new life. She married the guy she cheated with. Everyone said, well, at least it was love. I didn't correct them. Let them believe fairy tales. 2 years later, I got a subpoena. She was filing for a restraining order against him, and somehow I was listed as a witness because I'd once texted her. Are you safe? I showed up. I sat in the back. She didn't see me at first. Then she took the stand. She looked at her hands like they belonged to someone else. She described him screaming, breaking things, calling her names. The same man she'd chosen over our marriage. When she finally glanced around, her eyes landed on me, and her whole face changed. Shame, shock, desperation. Like she'd seen a ghost. After the hearing, she followed me into the hallway, trembling. I didn't know you'd come. I was subpoenaed, I said. She nodded, tears forming. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything. I didn't realize what I had until I lost it. You never talked to me like that. You never made me afraid. I didn't comfort her. I didn't smile. I said, and you still cheated. She flinched like I'd slapped her. I know, she whispered. I know. I thought I was escaping something boring. But boring was peace. Peace was you. That sentence almost cracked me, because it was true, and it was too late. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. I don't want you back, I said, but I hope you get safe. She cried harder. Do you ever wish you'd stopped me? No, I answered, because then you'd still be the kind of person who needed stopping. And I walked away while she stood there in the courthouse hallway, realizing her regret couldn't time travel. Story 15. My ex-wife didn't regret cheating until she met my mother again. After the divorce, my mom didn't hate her. My mom just disappeared. No calls, no messages, nothing. My ex-wife used to brag about how much my mom loved her. Then, one random afternoon, my mom called me laughing. Guess who I ran into at the grocery store? I knew instantly. My mom said, she tried to hug me. Apparently, my ex-wife saw my mom in the cereal aisle, rushed over like they were still family and said, I miss you so much. My mom stepped back and asked, calm as a surgeon, did you miss me when you were sleeping with someone else? My ex-wife froze. My mom continued, voice still gentle, because I loved you. I defended you. And you embarrassed my son. My ex-wife started crying right there by the oatmeal. People stared. She tried to explain. Stress, loneliness, mistakes, whatever excuse was trending. My mom cut her off with one sentence. A mistake is dropping a plate. You dropped a marriage. Later that night, my ex-wife texted me. Your mom hates me. I replied, she doesn't hate you. She just sees you clearly. Then came the flood. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I never wanted to be this person. I thought I could fix it. I thought you'd always be there. I stared at the screen, feeling nothing but exhaustion. So I wrote the only honest answer. You didn't lose me when you cheated. You lost me when you assumed I'd stay anyway. She sent a final message. I regret everything. And for once, I believed her. Not because she'd changed, but because she finally understood. Regret doesn't rebuild what betrayal demolished. Story 16. My ex-wife regretted cheating the day she realized she couldn't rewrite the story anymore. After the divorce, she told everyone I was emotionally unavailable and that the affair just happened. I didn't argue. I figured truth doesn't need a PR team. Then her affair partner's wife, yes, wife, messaged me on Instagram. He told me it was over. It wasn't. I'm sorry. Can we talk? We met at a coffee shop like two people who never wanted to be in the same movie. She slid her phone across the table. Screenshots. Dates. Hotel receipts. My ex-wife wasn't a one-mistake girl. She was a full-time liar. I didn't even feel anger. I felt stupid for ever believing the soft version. A week later, there was a neighborhood block party. My ex-wife showed up, confident smile, ready to perform healing. Then the other wife walked in, because apparently she lived nearby too. When their eyes met, my ex-wife went pale like someone pulled the plug on her face. The wife said, loud enough for everyone, so you're the one he lied to me about? My ex-wife stuttered, what? And the wife replied, calm and lethal, don't worry. He lied to you too. That's his hobby. People stared. My ex-wife's new friends, who thought she was a victim, looked confused. She spun toward me, panicked. You knew? I said. I found out. Same as everyone else is finding out right now. She grabbed my arm. Please don't let her do this to me. I stared at her hand on my sleeve. Do what? Tell the truth? She started crying. Not like a woman mourning love. Like a woman watching her stage lights shut off. She whispered, I ruined everything. And I finally answered, yeah, you did. That night she texted me 50 times. Apologies. Regret. I wasn't thinking, but the truth was she had been thinking. She just thought she'd never be exposed. Story 17. I didn't hear I regret cheating from my ex-wife until she heard it from my mouth first. We bumped into each other at a pharmacy. I was grabbing cold medicine. She was in the makeup aisle, still dressed like she had somewhere important to be. She smiled too fast. Hey! Wow. You look different. I am, I said. She followed me toward the checkout like she had rights to my time. I've been meaning to reach out. I want to apologize. I paid. I started walking out. She rushed after me. Please, just 2 minutes. So I stopped outside and said, okay, apologize. Her mouth opened, then closed. She wasn't ready. She was ready for a conversation, not accountability. I'm sorry for how things ended, she began. I cut in. No, say what you did. Her face twitched. I made mistakes. Say the word, I said. Cheating. She looked like I'd forced her to swallow glass. I cheated, she whispered. And? I pushed. And I regret it, she said quickly, like it would end the pain. I nodded. Me too. Her eyes brightened. You regret leaving? I shook my head. I regret marrying someone who would rather protect her image than tell the truth. Her smile dropped. That's not fair. I laughed. You don't get to talk about fair. Then she blurted, raw and desperate. He left me, okay? The guy I cheated with. He ghosted me the minute I stopped being fun. And now I keep thinking about you. About how you'd have stayed. There it was. Not love. A craving for stability. I said, I wouldn't have stayed. Not anymore. She started crying in the parking lot, mascara already smudging. I ruined the best thing I had. I looked her in the eye and said, you ruined your best thing. Mine started after you. I walked away while she stood there holding a bag of lipstick like it could paint over what she'd done. Story 18. My ex-wife regretted cheating when she realized our kids didn't see her the same. We share 2 boys, 11 and 8. I've never talked trash about her. I promised myself I wouldn't poison them with adult pain. But kids aren't dumb. They notice who shows up. One Saturday, I was loading the car for a camping trip when she pulled into the driveway, unannounced. She stepped out with that nervous energy like she was about to audition for forgiveness. I just wanted to talk, she said, eyes darting to the boys. My oldest, Noah, didn't even look up from tying his boots. Mom, you said you were coming last weekend. She flinched. I know, honey. I'm sorry. My younger one, Eli, asked quietly. Are you going to leave again? That question hit the air like a brick. My ex-wife's eyes filled instantly. No. No, baby. Noah stood up and said something I know he'd been holding for years. You left Dad first. She snapped her head toward me, angry like I'd coached him. I hadn't. But truth sounds rehearsed when you've been avoiding it. She pulled me aside, whisper hissing, What are you telling them? Nothing, I said. They're telling you. Her voice broke. I regret it. I regret cheating. I regret blowing up our family. I stared at her. Do you regret hurting me? Or do you regret that the boys finally noticed? She covered her mouth and started crying. Hard, in my driveway. The kids watched, quiet, not cruel, just tired. Noah walked past her with his backpack and said, Not mean, just final. We're going with Dad. After we drove off, she texted me, I don't know how to fix this. I wrote back, neither do I. But you don't fix it with tears. You fix it with time you didn't give us. Story 19. My ex-wife's regret arrived in the form of a voicemail from her affair partner. I didn't answer the unknown number. Later, I listened to the message. Hey, this is Mark. Listen, I shouldn't be calling, but she's losing it. She won't stop talking about you. She keeps saying she made the biggest mistake of her life. I stared at my phone like it was radioactive. Then my ex-wife texted, Ignore him, please. That was the first time she'd ever begged me for anything without anger behind it. I replied, Why is he calling me? She said, Because I told him I regret it. And he got mad. I almost laughed. Of course he did. Cheaters hate being reminded they're temporary. She asked to meet. I agreed. Public place, daytime, no drama. When she arrived, she looked wrecked. He didn't love me, she said immediately. He loved the ego boost. And I confused that with being valued. I said, You valued it more than our marriage. Her eyes filled. I know. I hate myself. I thought I was escaping boredom, but it wasn't boredom. It was peace. I didn't know the difference. Then she admitted the real reason for the panic. Mark had started telling people she chased him and begged for him. Her regret had become gossip. He's trying to make me the crazy one, she whispered. I leaned back. Wasn't it easier to make me the crazy one? She flinched like she'd been hit. Tears spilled. You're right. You're right. I'm finally tasting what I serve. She reached across the table. Do you ever think we could... I stood up. No, she whispered. I just want to stop feeling like this, I said. Then stop asking the person you hurt to comfort you. And I walked out while her phone buzzed again. Probably Mark, proving her regret wasn't about love. It was about realizing the people she chose didn't protect her the way I used to. Story 20. My ex-wife regretted cheating when she tried to win me back and realized she wasn't competing with another woman. She was competing with my peace. It started with small things, liking old photos, sending hope you're well texts, showing up at mutual friends gatherings like we were in a slow burn reunion. Then she went bigger. She booked the same vacation resort I went to every year. Same week, same beach. Like fate could be manufactured with a credit card. I was walking back to my room one evening when she stepped out of the elevator, dressed up, hair perfect. Wow, she said softly. You're really here. Yeah, I said. I paid for it. She smiled. Then her voice cracked. Can we talk? I've changed. I regret cheating. I was selfish. I was stupid. I didn't respond, so she added, desperate, he dumped me. He cheated on me too. Karma, right? I get it now. That's not karma, I said. That's just the kind of man you chose. Her smile faded. I'm trying to be honest. I finally said it. You're not honest. You're lonely. She blinked, wounded. That's not... It is, I continued. You didn't come here because you miss me. You came here because you can't stand that I'm okay. Her eyes filled fast. I see you smiling in photos. I see you traveling. I see you living. And I feel like I'm watching someone else take my place. I nodded. You gave it away. She started crying right there in the hallway, makeup trembling. I'd do anything to go back. I opened my door and paused. You can't go back. That's the whole point of regret. Then I went inside and closed the door gently. No slam, no drama. And on the other side, I heard her slide down the wall and sob like the resort's fancy carpet could absorb consequences. That was the moment she understood. Cheating doesn't just end a marriage. It ends your access to the person you took for granted. Story 21. My ex-wife's regret came with a PowerPoint voice. She asked to meet to discuss co-parenting improvements. I assumed it was about schedules. I showed up to a cafe, and she literally had a notebook and color-coded tabs like she was pitching a startup. Okay, she said, taking a deep breath. First, I want to apologize for the affair. I blinked. That's not what this meeting is. It has to be, she insisted. Because I can't move forward until you know I understand. She started listing things she'd learned. Accountability, boundaries, childhood wounds, all the therapy words. Then she said, I regret cheating because I finally realized I was self-sabotaging a healthy relationship. It sounded rehearsed, like she'd practiced in front of a mirror until it felt safe. So I asked, what happened that made you want to say this now? Her mouth twitched. My boyfriend asked why I flinch when he checks my phone. I waited. She exhaled. He cheated on me. And for the first time, I understood the pain I gave you. Like I felt it in my stomach. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sleep. So her regret wasn't born from empathy. It was born from being on the receiving end. She reached across the table, eyes wet. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I nodded slowly. I accept your apology. Her face lit up with hope. Like that sentence was a door opening. I added, as the mother of my kids, not as my wife. That part is dead. Her hope collapsed like paper in water. She whispered, so there's no chance. I said, there's a chance you become better. There's no chance you become mine again. She closed her notebook like the meeting was over, and for the first time, she looked truly small. Not because I crushed her, because she finally understood. Therapy language doesn't reverse betrayal. Actions do, and she'd already taken hers. Story 22. I got my ex-wife's apology at a baby shower. Not mine. Not hers. Our mutual friends. I walked in, saw balloons, cupcakes, and a room full of people who didn't know where to look when the divorced couple arrives. I planned to stay 30 minutes, smile, leave. Then I saw her across the room, frozen mid-laugh like she'd just spotted a car crash. She walked up slowly, holding a tiny gift bag, eyes glossy. Hi. Hi, I said, already scanning for an exit. She swallowed. I heard you're dating someone serious. I shrugged. Yeah? Her face tightened like it physically hurt. I'm happy for you. It was the most dishonest sentence I'd ever heard. Then she whispered, I'm sorry. I looked at her. Don't do this here. I have to, she said, voice shaking. Because I'm losing my mind. I cheated and thought I'd still be the main character in your story. And now I'm not even in it. I didn't answer, so she kept going. Too loud now. People started listening. I ruined my life, she said. He used me. He lied to me. And you were the only person who ever actually loved me. A couple people looked shocked. One friend's jaw literally dropped. I leaned in and said, "Lo, you're making a scene at a baby shower." She laughed through tears. I know. That's what I do, right? I blow up good things. That line was so self-aware it almost sounded like growth. Almost. Then she asked the question she'd been holding like a grenade. Do you ever miss me? I took a breath. I miss the version of you that didn't exist. Her face crumpled. She backed away fast, embarrassed, and muttered something about needing air. The room went quiet. The mom-to-be awkwardly clapped her hands and announced a game. I left early. Outside, I sat in my car and stared at the steering wheel. Her regret wasn't my burden anymore. But damn, watching someone realize they set fire to their own life never looks pretty. Story 23. My ex-wife regretted cheating when she tried to threaten me and realized she had no leverage. After the divorce, she moved in with the affair partner. She acted like she'd won. I focused on my life and stayed out of her drama. Then one night she called, voice sharp. We need to talk. Now, I sighed. About the kids? No, she snapped. About you. I heard you're telling people I cheated. I'm not telling anyone, I said. They have eyes. She went quiet for a second, then pulled out the old weapon. If you don't stop, I'll make custody hell. I'll tell the judge you're unstable. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was pathetic. You're recording this? She asked suspiciously. No, I said, but you should be. Because this is the part where you realize you're not in charge anymore. She started breathing hard. You think you're so perfect, I said. No, I just don't lie to myself. Then her voice cracked, and the threat melted into something ugly and real. He left me, okay? He left. And now I'm alone. And everyone looks at me like I'm poison. There it was. The switch. Rage to regret in one sentence. She whispered. I regret cheating. I regret destroying our family. I didn't think it would end like this. I stayed calm. It ended exactly like this. You just didn't think consequences applied to you. She started sobbing, like she'd finally run out of tricks. Please don't hate me. And I said the truth that hurt her more than hate. I don't have the energy to hate you. She hung up. The next day, she texted a long apology. No threats. No excuses. Just fear and regret. I replied with one line, be a good mom. That's all I need from you now. Sometimes regret isn't a redemption arc. Sometimes it's a surrender. Story 24. My ex-wife's regret showed up wearing a ring. I ran into her at a bookstore. She was in the self-help section, which felt like a joke the universe wrote on purpose. We made awkward eye contact. Then I noticed the diamond on her hand. Congratulations, I said automatically. Her smile was thin. It's not what you think. I raised an eyebrow. It looks like an engagement ring. It is, she admitted. But I said yes because I'm scared to be alone. That honesty hit harder than any apology. We sat at the little cafe inside the bookstore. Two strangers with shared history. She kept twisting the ring like it was burning her skin. I regret cheating, she said suddenly. I regret leaving you for someone who made me feel exciting for 5 minutes and worthless for 5 years. I asked, so why are you getting married? She laughed, bitter. Because he's safe, and I'm tired. I stared at her. That's what I was. Safe. She flinched. No, you were more than that. You were kind. And I treated kindness like it was optional. Her eyes filled. Sometimes I wake up and I remember your face the day you found out. I hate myself for it. For a second, I saw a real human being. Someone who finally felt the damage instead of justifying it. Then she said quietly, I don't want to marry him. I want my life back. I shook my head. That life doesn't exist anymore. She whispered, do you ever think about what we could have been? I answered, yeah, and then I think about what you chose instead. She looked down at the ring like it was a handcuff. When we stood to leave, she said, I don't know how to live with my mistakes. I didn't rescue her. I just said, start by not making new ones. And I walked out while she stayed behind, staring at her reflection in the glass like she didn't recognize the woman wearing that ring. Story 25. My ex-wife regretted cheating when she tried to apologize to my new wife, and got the answer she deserved. Yes, I remarried. Her name is Liana. She's calm in a way my ex never understood. Calm like a locked door. We were at a school event for my daughter when my ex-wife approached us. Eyes shiny, voice trembling. Can we talk? Liana looked at me like, your circus. I nodded, and we stepped aside. My ex-wife took a shaky breath. I'm sorry. I regret cheating. I regret breaking our family. I was selfish. I was lost. I thought I was chasing happiness, but I was chasing attention. Then she turned to Liana and said, "And I'm sorry you have to deal with me." Liana smiled politely. "I don't deal with you." "He does." That sentence landed like a hammer. My ex-wife blinked, stunned. My ex started. "I just want you to know I'm not—" Liana cut her off gently. "You don't need to convince me you've changed. You need to prove it to your kids." My ex-wife's eyes filled. "I miss him," she admitted, looking at me. "I miss us. I miss our home." I didn't respond. Liana stepped closer to me, calm as ever, and said, "That home is here now." My ex-wife's breath hitched. She looked around at the other parents, the teachers, the normal life happening without her. And that's when her regret finally looked real. Because it wasn't about romance. It was about realizing she'd permanently lost her place. She whispered, "Do you think he ever loved me?" Liana answered before I could. "He loved you enough to give you a whole life. You just didn't protect it." My ex-wife broke down, right there by the gym doors, shaking with quiet sobs. No screaming, no scene. Just the sound of someone finally understanding the cost. I led my daughter back inside. Liana took my hand. And behind us, my ex-wife stood alone, watching the family she threw away keep walking forward. Story 26. My ex-wife regretted cheating when she realized my silence wasn't taking space. It was the end. After the divorce, she tried to keep a thread between us. Memes, "Hope you're okay," texts, random questions she could have Googled. I responded only about the kids, nothing else. One night she called, crying so hard I could barely understand her. "Please, just talk to me like you used to." I was tired, sitting in my kitchen with bills spread out. "What happened?" "He's getting married," she choked out. "The guy I cheated with. He's marrying the girl he told me not to worry about." I didn't feel surprise. I felt inevitability. She kept going, voice frantic. "And now I'm here and I can't stop thinking about how you would have never done that to me. You would have never humiliated me like this," I said, flat. "You humiliated yourself." That made her gasp, like she'd expected comfort. "I regret it," she whispered. "I regret cheating. I regret everything. I want to go back." I stared at the wall for a long second, choosing the cleanest truth. "You don't want to go back? You want me to make it stop hurting?" Her sobbing got louder. "I don't deserve this." "No," I said. "You don't deserve me. This part? This is just life catching up." She went quiet, then asked in a broken voice, "Do you ever miss me?" I surprised myself by answering honestly, "Sometimes I miss the routine. But I don't miss the fear. And I don't miss who I became trying to keep you." She whispered, "I'm sorry." "I know," I said. "Good night." I hung up. She texted a dozen times after, but I didn't respond. Not out of cruelty, out of closure. Because regret is loud when it wants attention, and my peace doesn't negotiate. Story 27. My ex-wife's regret showed up in my DMs from her own sister. "Hey, I'm sorry to bother you, but she's not okay. She keeps saying she made the biggest mistake of her life." I stared at the message for a full minute, thinking, not my emergency. "But we have kids." So I replied, "Is she a danger to herself?" Her sister wrote back, "No, just spiraling. She drinks. She cries. She looks at old photos. She says you were the only one who ever truly loved her." A week later, I went to pick up the kids. My ex-wife opened the door and I barely recognized her. Messy hair, puffy eyes. The house smelled like stale wine and scented candles fighting for their lives. The kids ran to the car. She stayed on the porch, arms wrapped around herself. "You hate me," she said. "I don't hate you," I replied, "but you need to get it together. For them." Her voice cracked. "I regret cheating. I regret blowing up our family. He was nothing. I don't even know why I did it." I asked, "Did you tell your therapist that? Or just me?" She flinched. I stopped going. Of course she did. Then she said the line that made my stomach twist. "Sometimes I fantasize about you coming back and saving me." I stepped closer, not angry, firm. "Listen to me. I am not your rescue fantasy. You need to save yourself." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I don't know how." I pointed at the car where our kids were buckling up. "Start by being a mother, not a victim." She whispered, "Do you think I'm a monster?" I paused. "I think you did something monstrous. That doesn't mean you have to stay that person forever." Her sister must have coached her, because she didn't argue. She just nodded like she'd finally heard something real. I drove away, and in the rearview mirror, she was still on the porch, small, shaking, watching the life she traded for a thrill drive off without her. Story 28. My ex-wife regretted cheating when she tried to flirt with me, and realized I didn't even speak her language anymore. We were at our son's soccer game. She sat next to me on the bleachers like it was normal. Like the divorce was a bad season that ended. She leaned in. "You look good," she said, smiling. I said, "Thanks," and kept watching the field. She tried again. Remember when we used to come to games like this and then grab burgers after? Yeah, I said, still watching. She laughed nervously. God, you're cold. I finally looked at her. I'm not cold. I'm focused, she swallowed. I'm sorry, okay? I regret cheating. I regret hurting you. I didn't think I'd lose you completely. I stared at her. That's what cheating is. Her eyes filled. I was stupid. I thought you'd always love me, and there it was. The entitlement wrapped in tears. I said, I did love you. That's why you thought you could do it and still come home. Her face tightened. So what, you'll never forgive me? I shrugged. I already did, for myself. Her expression brightened. Then maybe... I cut her off gently. Forgiving you doesn't mean I want you. She looked like she'd been slapped. Her mouth opened, closed. She nodded slowly like she was learning gravity. Then our son scored a goal and everyone cheered. I stood up, clapping, smiling for him. Real happiness. My ex-wife watched me for a second, then whispered, barely audible, you're happier without me. I didn't rub it in. I just said, yeah. And for the rest of the game, she sat quietly, finally understanding the difference between punishment and consequences. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I was just no longer willing to live in the same world she broke.